What if I told you that asking for everyone else's opinion before making decision isn't being considerate? It's actually a subtle addiction that's keeping you trapped in a life that's too small for who you're becoming. And what if I told you that I spent 20 years of my life asking, what do you think I should do? Before I realized I was using other people's opinion as an excuse to avoid trusting myself. I'm Ronnie from Third Act Society, and I have a confession. I once asked 47 people what they thought about me starting a business. Not one person said it was a bad idea, but I kept asking until someone would talk me out of it. I was using their opinion as a shield against my own fear of failing, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. Today, we're talking about the permission trap that keeps smart, capable women stuck in lives that feel too small. And I'm going to share the exact process I used to break free from needing everyone else's approval before I could trust my own judgment. Here's how the permission trap works, and tell me if this sounds familiar. You want something? Maybe it's a career change, a boundary with family, or just the freedom to spend your Saturday how you want to spend it. But instead of trusting your own instinct, you start polling people. Your sister, your best friend, your colleague, maybe even your hairdresser. You tell yourself you're gathering information, but what you're really doing is outsourcing the responsibility for your own life. If everyone says yes, you can want it safely. If someone says no, you don't have to risk being disappointed or wrong. The problem is, you've trained yourself to need external validation for internal knowing. And listen, I get it. We were raised to be collaborative, to consider others, to be good women who don't make waves. But somewhere along the way, collaboration became permission seeking. And permission seeking became a prison. And if you're thinking, but I'm just being smart about getting input, I used to tell myself the same thing. And I'm going to show you the difference between gathering information and seeking permission, and why one empowers you while the other keeps you small. In our 20s and 30s, asking for input actually was smart. We were building relationships. We were learning from people with more experience, creating collaborative partnerships. It served us well when we were figuring out our careers, our relationship, our basic adult life. But here's what happened. The game changed, but we kept playing by the old rules. Now in our 40s, 50s, and beyond, we're still seeking permission for our own life from people who earned our own lives. I see 3 types of permission seekers, and I bet you'll recognize yourself in one of them. First is the research addict. That's the woman who needs to research everything to death before making any moves. That's me when I'm planning travel. She mistakes motion for progress and gathering information for making decisions. Then there's the consensus builder. She needs everyone to agree before she acts. She's confused unanimous approval with being right, which means she's giving everyone veto power over her own personal choices. And finally, there's the authority seeker. She looks for experts, guru, anyone with credentials to tell her what to do. She's abdicated her authority to anyone who seems more confident or qualified. Let me tell you what permission seeking actually cost you, because I've lived this for decades. First, you become predictably available. People learn that they can count on you to accommodate everyone else's preferences because you're always checking with everyone before you know what you actually want. Second, you attract the wrong people. Healthy people want reciprocal relationships. They want to know what you think, what you prefer, what you bring to the table. But when you're constantly deferring to others, you attract people who like that dynamic, people who want to be the decider in every relationship. Third, this is the big one. You lose access to your own intuition. Your gut instinct is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it atrophies. Every time you ask, what do you think I should do? Instead of, what do I think I should do? You're weakening the capacity to trust yourself. I realized this when I was trying to make decisions about my corporate job. I'd asked so many people for their opinion that I couldn't hear my own voice anymore. I was more confused after months of inputs than I was when I started. This is why learning to distinguish between information gathering and permission seeking is such a game changer. Once you know the difference, you can't unsee it. Here's the question that changed everything for me. Am I gathering information to inform my decision? Or am I seeking someone else's to make the decision for me? Information gathering sounds like, what factors should I consider? What's been your experience with this? What challenges might I face? You're collecting data to make your decision better. Permission seeking sounds like this. What do you think I should do? Do you think this is a good idea? What would you do in my situation? You're trying to get someone else to take responsibility for your choice. The difference is who maintains decision-making authority. When you gather information, you stay in the driver's seat of your own life. When you seek permission, you're asking someone else to drive. Here's a real example. Instead of asking, do you think I should leave my job? You can ask, what factors do you think are most important when considering a career change? Same conversation, completely different dynamic. I got helpful input while maintaining authority over my own decision. I've actually created a complete permission detox guide that teaches you exactly how to break patterns with scripts for gathering information without seeking permission, and a step-by-step process for rebuilding trust in your own judgment. I'll tell you how to get that in just a moment. Let me share the practice that started rebuilding my decision confidence. I call it the 48-hour trust test. Before seeking any input on a decision, you sit with your own instinct for 48 hours. Here's how it works. When you face a decision, write down your gut reaction within the first 5 minutes. What does your intuition tell you? What feels right in your body? What would you choose if you had to decide right now? Then, for 48 hours, sit with your instinct. You don't ask anyone else's opinion. You don't research it to death. You just live with your internal knowing and see how it feels over time. What I discovered shocked me. About 80% of the time, my initial instinct was right. I'd been drowning it out with everyone else's input before I gave it a chance to develop. During those 48 hours, you might get additional clarity. You might feel more certain, and you might realize you need specific information. But you approach any consultation from a position of clarity about your own preferences, not from confusion, seeking rescue. Let me tell you about Janet. She spent 6 months asking family, friends, and colleagues whether she should take a new job. Got conflicting advice, felt more confused than when she started. Sound familiar? What she learned from this framework? She spent 2 weeks gathering specific information, salary details, growth potential, company culture, while staying connected to her own instinct about the opportunity. She made the decision based on her values and goals, took the job, and thrived immediately. Got promoted within a year. What changed wasn't the quality of the decision, it was who made it. She did, based on her own judgment by relevant data, rather than trying to get consensus from people who didn't understand her full situation or her goals. Or Maria, who asked everyone whether she should end her marriage, got advice ranging from stick it out or leave immediately. She felt guilty no matter what she considered because she was trying to make everyone else comfortable with her life choice. When she stopped asking others and started clarifying her own values and needs, she made a clear decision what she could own completely. Whether she stayed or left became less important than the fact that she was deciding based on what she could live with. This is what's possible when you reclaim authority over your own life. But this transition isn't always smooth. So having a system really helps. When you stop seeking permission, people who are used to being consulted might push back. They might say, "Why didn't you ask me what I thought?" Or, "So you don't care what I think anymore?" Here's how to handle it. I really value your perspective. I'm working on trusting my own judgment more, which doesn't mean I value your input less. Some people will respect your growth. Others will escalate their own attempts to influence you. This is actually valuable information about who's in your life for you versus who's there for the control they have over your decisions. The relationship that improve when you stop seeking permission, those are your people. The ones that get worse, those were never healthy to begin with. Here's how to start breaking this pattern today. For the next week, just notice how often you seek permission versus gather information. Don't try to change it yet. Just become aware of it. Pay attention to the language you use. How often do you say, "What do you think I should do?" versus, "What's been your experience with this?" How often do you ask for approval versus ask for insight? Then start small. Make 3 tiny decisions daily without consulting anyone. What to eat, what to wear, which route to take. Build your decision-making muscles with low-stake choices before you tackle the big stuff. The goal isn't to never get input. It's to maintain authority over your own life while gathering the information that actually serves your decision-making. Your life is too precious to be directed by other people's fears, their limitation, and their comfort zones. You have accumulated decades of wisdom and experience. You know yourself better than anyone else knows you. Your judgment is not only valid, it's essential. The Permission Detox Guide I mentioned walks you through exactly how to break free from approval seeking with daily practices, scripts for handling pushback, and a complete system for rebuilding confidence in your own judgment. You can grab that free guide using the link in the description. And if you're ready to completely transform your relationship with decision making and want personalized support in breaking patterns that have been decades in the making, I work individually with women who are serious about reclaiming authority over their own lives. We identify specific permission-seeking triggers. We create custom scripts for your challenging relationships and build your capacity to make decisions quickly and confidently. You can learn more about working together using the link below. So, what's one decision you're currently seeking permission for that you already know the answer to in your heart? Share in the comment. Sometimes, naming it breaks its power over you. Remember, your opinion of your life matters more than anyone else's opinion of your life. Your permission detox starts now.